Hi guys. I'm making a video today that is so deep to me and so important to me. And something that I've kind of been putting off because it's so much easier to make a surface level video, right? And a little like, what's in my bag? And as cute as that is, as much as I'm not in front of people make those because I totally watch those while getting ready. I think that there's just like so many things going on right now. Um, that I think also need talked about. Um, so yeah, we're gonna get into empathy education and why it really matters. I'm gonna try really hard not to cry. Okay. Um, we know, right, that not everything in our world is going yippee hey. Is that an expression? I really don't know. Um, and there's a lot of like, how do we fix this? And what can we personally do to contribute, right? Because I don't have however much money um, that a certain person online has been mentioned to have to end world hunger, right? Um, but I can still contribute. Um, and I think honestly, my hot take of the year is that empathy education is actually going to change the world and can if we utilize it. Um, yes, I understand that people are starving and that saying woo empathy like isn't fixing that, but hear me out and stay with me as we go down this long-winded thing. um we If we get empathy education out there properly, which I'm going to explain how that has to work in a minute too, then it's not just like, oh, I should be kind to this person, right? But it's also that person learns that, and eventually lawyers and doctors and that girl at Starbucks that writes you the sweetest note in your coffee, right? Because her company makes her, but it still makes you happy. Um, it gets past that and it turns into lawmakers and activists and people who maybe do have more of a voice. Not that everybody doesn't, but if you have if we can say, hey, this is how empathy works, this is how what other people are going through and like how you really constantly think about this, then people donate time and money to other people, they create laws that benefit others, they help their neighbors on a small scale, and we literally have no reason to not help out other people, but sometimes we need that reminder. And I just think it's so important that we remember how much us helping one other person is actually how we change the world and actually how we do things. And part of this is in art. Like empathy education and art are so inexplicably linked. I swear I have a point, okay? I'm just getting there. And part of this is we have started to attempt. I'm not saying that art is dead, okay? I'm not going to Timothée Chalamet. For context, I do opera as a job. I'm not saying it's dead, but there's been a push for short-term media instead of long-term form media. And this has also, I'm not saying that correlation and causation are the same, but I am saying that we've seen an increase in short-term media at the same time that we have seen a decrease in empathy and reading and art consumption. And short form media is great. I love scrolling Instagram reels, okay? More than the next person, I promise. But I also think that it's very easily an echo chamber like consumption, right? Where you sit and you like a reel about puppies, and then your next 10 reels are also about puppies. And the more puppies that you like, there are cute golden retrievers, the more only golden retriever puppy bills you see. And the internet is not only golden retriever puppy bills, but to you, your internet is. And you can get in an echo chamber with anything, right? You can sit on Disney Plus and only watch Marvel movies. However, this is harder to do, right? Like, you can also sit and only read a very, very specific section of literature, and that's all you ever read. Or you could read the same book over and over and over. But it's harder because you seeking out books with the exact same themes and the exact same writing, like Queen of Palace, like, that's harder to do. You have to go intentionally pick out a book or a movie based on what it's about. Your reels just come to you. Well, you bring them to you through what you engage with. And, like, we need to be conscious of watching different movies and engaging with different literature. And, like, we need to be conscious of all media consumption because that's called being an adult and consuming media responsibly. But it's so much easier to get an echo chamber with short-term media. Like, I've even noticed when I scroll Instagram, like, not only does it quickly become an echo chamber, but also in between sessions. Like, if I scrolled Instagram 2 days ago, what I see the most of is not the same that I see the most of in the next 2 days. Overall, the theming is very similar because that's how an algorithm works. But if you have one hole that you sit on for 3 hours, like, you're not getting diverse views, and you need to get diverse views. And the way that you get diverse views is live entertainment. You consume books, you consume movies, but here's the thing. Theater very slowly helps empathy education, right? Like, it promotes put yourself in other people's shoes. It's the original put yourself in other people's shoes. Because you're sitting there and they're just thinking about their life, all their internal thoughts, okay? And also, you don't get to pick what shows you go see. Okay, maybe you live somewhere with, like, limitless shows. But theater is hard to get to, right? If you're watching online for free, you're Googling those slime tutorials, and the slime tutorials available, hard to find, right? Like, you don't just get whatever. And then also, if you go see one in real life, you have to have one that you have to have a show that comes to your area. You have to have a show that's open when you're available to see it. You have to pay a lot of money for the show, so you're really looking into it to make sure it's a good for you. And you're not going and seeing a ton mindlessly. Like, you're gonna go, you're gonna dress up, you're gonna get there early, you're gonna take the experience, you're gonna really think about it because you've paid money for it, and a lot of it. And I'm not saying that theater should be inaccessible at all. Theater should be very accessible. But that little bit of, like, it's the same as a movie theater, right? It's the same concept. You don't just go consume a movie theater as passively as you do Netflix because you paid to be there, you drove to be there, you got out of your pajamas most of the time to be there, right? Like, it's harder. And the more that we consume media in a way that's more difficult, the more that we're engaging with it. And we have to engage with it. You can read whatever you want. I'm not hating on people who read certain books or types of books. I think you get what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that you have to engage with whatever you're reading with or you're watching, and it's easier when it was harder to get to. But it helps promote different types of music and literature. No, I'm sorry. It, like, pause. I'm sorry. I have notes over here and I'm trying to, but the other thing is, it's showing the really cool thing about something like theater or movie is, or even a book, right? Like, you see this happened, this was said, whatever, but then you immediately see this is what this other person's internal thoughts about it was. This is how that directly affected another person. This is how someone else around the world lives, or person right next to me lives or thinks about things or, like, struggles with things. And you get to see, like, this is how all these other people view the world. My way of viewing the world isn't the only way. Which, speaking of which, if you need a little reminder that how you experience the world is not actually how everyone experiences the world, which we all do all of the time, read This Is Water by David Foster Wallace. It's a commencement speech. It's really short, actually, but It's so good. I have it pulled, I literally, in my Safari, I have a tab of it pulled up all the time. Because one of the really great points that he makes is like, you're in the grocery store and you're tired and you don't want to be there and you had a long stressful day at your job and the wheel is squeaky and the lights are flashy, and I've read this a lot, can you tell? And the lady at the checkout counter is being really annoying and you're like, oh my god, and then you have to get through all this traffic to go home. And like, you can think that way, but you can also think, wow, I get to be in this grocery store with all this food and I get to pick out what I want, and this lady's having as hard of a day as I am because her job is also long and stressful. And when you're stuck in traffic, it can be like, yes, I want to go home and I'm so tired of everybody being in my way, but also maybe I'm in someone else's way. Maybe we're all just here and we can think the moment that we're in and getting to experience the moment that we're in. And this sucks. This is hard. Training your brain to think that way is so incredibly difficult. Trust me, I've spent a ridiculous amount of my life trying to do it. But if you can reframe the way that you think about things, if you can empathy educate yourself to view the world through other people's eyes and how it affects them, and think deeply about other people and your impact on other people, you will be so much happier. I promise, because I feel so much happier when I think that way, and you'll make the people around you so much happier. Because here's the thing, we all learned empathy in kindergarten, okay? I know, but we see it through seeing other people's lives and situations. And right now we're living in a world where I've seen a ton of different people's lives online, but half of them aren't real. And the people that I'm exposed to in real life aren't actually that varied. I mean, there's a ton of people, but like, you get less. I can't see what the person next to me in my math class is thinking, like exactly how they're experiencing that moment. I can see how they're written to in books or movies or film, which is usually drawn from the people who wrote them experiences. So like, at the end of the day, you get really real. Our resources, we have so many resources to see and view other people's lives, but we don't use them correctly. We have algorithms we consume mindlessly. And this is my pitch for you to not consume mindlessly and to prioritize empathy education, because you need it and I need it and we need it really badly. Sorry this was such a ramble, but yeah, this is like my life's passion, by the way, is promoting empathy education. It's why I'm gonna go into theater and opera. So it's like, it's really hard for me to talk about coherently to a camera, because it's so much harder to talk to a camera than a person coherently, because it just feels like talking to yourself in the mirror. Nothing ever quite comes out in the right order. But if you made it this far, thank you so incredibly much. And I don't know, I might try and make more content like this that's a little bit more real, a little bit more me, because I can't preach for people to consume more thoughtfully if I'm not creating more thoughtfully. Bye, and I'll see you guys next week.